a portable air compressor is great, especially when you're first starting out, but for a permanent shop setup, it's just a little bit too inconvenient. One, it's really noisy, and two, I have to tote it all around my shop in order to use it. So today I'm going to take the opportunity to pipe my shop for air and air tools. I'm going to be using a 60-gallon air compressor on the other side of my shop wall. So my compressor is going to be outside of my shop to kind of cut down on the noise and not waste any space. The first thing I did was purchase and install this piece of equipment, which is called an FRL. So this line is already coming in from my air compressor, and I very well could just grab a quick connect feature, put it on here, hook my air line up to it, and start using my tool. But I went ahead and invested in this. This is called an FRL, Filter-Regulator-Lubricator, and I did that because what this is going to allow me to do is come from the compressor and immediately go into a filter where it's going to filter the air and get out additional moisture. Then it also has this kind of drain at the bottom, and then it's going to go into the regulator to where I can regulate the pressure and then lock it into place, and I can dictate how much the pressure that my tools are using from here. And then it's going to go into the lubricator to where it's going to pick up a little bit of oil to put into the line to help maintain the tools. So to me, it's worth the investment, but know that if you're putting in your own system, that this is not required. So for this project, I decided to buy a kit right off the shelf, and the kit is made by Rapid Air, and it comes with a lot of the outlets, the tubing, and a whole bunch of the connections. And so I did have to purchase some of the connections that go from the FRL over to the compressor line, but I was able to find these at the same place that I found the Rapid Air Master Kit. So it was really just as simple as taking all the connections out of the box and then putting it all together. And I started off by running the line coming in from the compressor into the FRL. Then on the side that comes out of the FRL, I put a T as well as a 90. This way I can run a line down and put an outlet over here. So this way I can route a line up to my ceiling and then route it around my shop. Now for all of the fittings, you need to be using some sort of sealant on the threads. I personally use Teflon tape since I already had a few rolls. And what this does is allow air to not escape and leak out. And whenever you are wrapping the Teflon tape, you need to be wrapping it in the direction that you would thread on the nut, so that whenever you are threading on the fitting, it's not going to unwrap the Teflon tape. Now the kit that I purchased came with these outlets already, and the fittings to where all you had to do is Teflon tape them and assemble them. So I put two of these together with the quick disconnect features, and then put them around my shop. Once I had the first one located, then I could just connect it with the blue tubing. Then I also ran a tubing up to the ceiling and then figured out where I wanted to place a reel. I think having a reel available on the ceiling to reach and just grab for is going to be really convenient. And this one is actually long enough to where it'll reach everywhere in my shop and even go a good ways outside of my shop. Once I had it bolted to the ceiling, then I could adjust the tail length. I wanted it as close to the ceiling as possible, but still be reachable whenever I'm standing flat-footed on the ground. And then I just continued on adding in the fittings with Teflon tape as I go. Once I had the reel located, then I could go back to my right angle fitting that I placed on the ceiling over here and just connect the two with the tubing. And as I was routing my lines, I was using some flex clutch just to keep everything nice and tight. When I was routing the tubing that goes to the hose reel, I added an additional T-fitting so that I could put an air outlet on this wall of my shop as well. So I routed the line, put in another 90 to go down, and I ended up having to modify my tape holder there, so I just used a multi-tool really quick to nip off the end. But then I was able to very quickly install the additional outlet, and then just finish piping it in. Okay, so I just turned it on so you can hear how quiet the air compressor is being stored outside of the shop. Maybe, I don't even know if you can hear that. So my good friend Nick Ferry, who's also one of the guys I do a podcast with, brought up a great point. Since I put in this FRL first thing in my air system, if I ever purchase a pneumatic paint sprayer, then the oil that the lubricator puts off might wreak havoc on my finishes. So what I plan to do there whenever I purchase a sprayer is to put a T-fitting here and have a separate hose line go off for the sprayer only. That way none of the oil will ever get to it. So I thought that was a great tip from Nick that I thought I would pass along in case you were setting up your own system. So thank you, Nick, for that. And I think that's gonna be it for this one. Now, of course, if you're interested in anything that I used in this video or any of my equipment, I have left you links in the description of the video. So be sure to check below. Leave me your comments and I will see you next time.